Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
We struggled as a strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
It's a beautiful Monday morning right here. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning. It's a beautiful day. I refer to every day as beautiful days. You know why? Because waking up in the morning to see a bright new day, you just get out of your room and you see the sun, you see the sky. It's a good thing, and also that January seems to be, February, I beg your pardon, seems to be running, like some people say. Some persons are saying, well, February is a love month. After 14th, you'll see how slow February is going to be. But then I don't think it's really going to be slow. Well, it's so good to have you join us on the program this morning. This is a Global Morning. That moment will bring you to speed with so many vital things. News, current affairs, the national dailies, vital discussions that will set the pace for your day. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, it is the Monday Tag Team. We are here to really give your day a smooth run. You know how the ride is always been on Mondays, especially when you have Ramsey and Jumai on the show. Well, it's good to have you this morning. Why that look? Why that look? You want to tell me you had a very wonderful weekend?
I did, and of course I'm smiling from cheek to cheek. But first of all, my manners. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning, Ramsey.
Yes, good morning. It's good to have you.
And yes, it's a tag team Monday, and I am Jumai Manson. Of course, I am smiling because you all know that. My colleagues know that Thursday was my birthday, and it's like I said, it's a whole week. You guys, it's my birthday, so I get to be the center of attention.
You're pushing me to say something about this birthday. How I wish every of our viewers were right here when we celebrated that birthday. And that's one birthday that's running for a whole month, a whole week. So you see how you just answer your birthday cake.
Yeah, of course. But of course, God is great. Thank you for another year, and to have beautiful loved ones, family members, and colleagues, it's an amazing blessing attached, and of course an added to it as part of the birthday package. But at the same time, like you mentioned, it's a beautiful Monday morning, and of course the month of February is a love month. It's a month where loved ones come together. But for me, Valentine's Day, when you say Valentine's, I feel Valentine's Day should be an everyday affair. It shouldn't be celebrated just one day. Show love every opportunity you have. Let every day be Valentine's Day.
I think for couples, it is every day. For the real couples, I'm not just talking about couples. For the real couples, people who really know the value of love and treasures love, and doing their Valentine every day. What's special about Valentine?
Exactly.
Is it the exchange of gift, or is it the call to say I love you, or is it that long text that explains the nitty-gritty of what love is all about? Well, Valentine is supposed to be an everyday thing. Show someone love, put a smile on someone's face every day. Your neighbors, your colleagues, everyone, and that's it. But let's get to talk about Monday.
Let's talk about
there is this belief that some persons do have high blood pressure on Mondays. I'm still coming to think about it. Then I was asking questions. You know me. I can ask questions. And I was made to understand that people who do what they don't love, the moment it's Monday, oh God, I'm going to face that boss again. Oh God, I'm going to be in that meeting where I'll be shouted on because I didn't meet my target and all of that. People like that, the moment it's Monday morning, the first thing is their mind skips, and that's not the best thing. It's good to do what you love.
It's good to do what you love, but at the same time, you know how it is. You know what the country is talking about now. A lot of people don't want to wake up to any incident that has to do with fuel, that has to do with another hike, that has to do with a lot of things are happening in Nigeria at the moment. But like I always say, let's be positive and know that everything's going to be fine. But I think it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of what is today going to bring when it comes to maybe am I good? Like everybody knows that when you went to the market yesterday, it's not the same thing you see today. So people will have that apprehension or that particular contract. You've already done your budget and you've already approved, and then you know that this week there might be an increment or something. I think that's just all about it. No one cares about being passionate about your job as long as my income comes at the end of the month. I'm good to go and I can meet up my daily needs, my the basics that I need when it comes to food, shelter, water, and I'm good. No one really cares about that. But at the same time, well, true, the apprehension of that boss's face, I do not want right now at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. But then talking about the immigration policy of Donald Trump, the people that are really apprehensive are people that are illegal migrants. If your papers are complete, everything is okay, you don't have anything to fear. But then I think there seems not to be a hiding place for anyone, not just Nigerians alone, but then about 3,690 Nigerians are on the radar of deportation right now from the United States. But then let's see how all of that is going to end. Donald Trump seems not to be smiling with anyone at this point. Talking about the takeover of Gaza, that's still on. We've not heard what the outcome is going to be, but then some persons are seriously frowning against it because there is this belief that the United States have ever been behind the Israelis, and some persons will say, okay, what about the Saudi Arabians that have been behind the Palestinians? It's been a whole lot of fighting back, but then let there be peace, ceasefire in the Middle East. That's what a lot of people are praying for right now. Then coming back to Nigeria, are we now beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, or a beam of the light at the end of the tunnel? Because fuel, all full time we'll talk about fuel because that has to affect almost everything that we do. If we want to talk about the products, the services, everything, there is a way that the price of fuel translates into how people feel, how people go about their businesses, either directly or indirectly. But the good news is the fact that the Dangote refinery and the instruction that came from Dangote as it has to do with the reduction in the price of fuel, then jet fuel, then of course diesel. I think that's a good one. But one of the things that I really want the price to reduce is gas, because people who cook with gas today, if you know how much a kg is going for, you will be surprised. But then Nigerians are still waiting for that time when they can go to the market and get foodstuffs and have something to eat without straining, without stress. Move from one place, because as a matter of fact, whether you like it or not, Nigerians must commute, must move from one place to the other. What's happening? How much is the fare from your location to your office today? How much is your salary? All of this put together can actually result to so many inconveniences, but then life must go on. The experts have said, well, the economy is going to get stable in a while, and we're still waiting for that time. What about the floating of the naira? In a few weeks now down the line, we've seen some level of stability, even though that's not what Nigerians are expecting. They want it to go lower than that. Talking about dollar to naira, it's been 1415 within that range in just in a little while now. But then Nigerians are waiting for when it will reduce to 500 naira. All right, to $1, and it's achievable. It's achievable. Let's see how all of this is going to go at the end of the day. I think it's now time for us to look at the pages of the national dailies. Let's see what the headlines are saying. What are the papers saying this morning? What's the news making rounds? We need to bring you the papers because you deserve to know what's happening.
And like Ramsey has mentioned, we need to bring you papers because you deserve to know the issues making round. Up next is a newspaper review. It's Global Morning. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. You are welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, it's Global Morning on Global Television, and at about this point is the newspaper review. And the first paper we will be delving into is the Punch newspaper. And above the main plate of the Punch newspaper, it says, "No leader can be effective without stepping on toes." And that's the voice of Obasanjo there. And you have to get yourself the Punch newspaper and turn to page 6 of the Punch newspaper to get yourself more read there. And still on the Punch, it says here, why we won't appear before Ikimi panel, and that's Otom and of course others. And below the nameplate says FBN holding stock gain 17.65%, emerges best performing tier 1 bank. And of course the star story of the Punch newspaper says 70,000 naira minimum wage, state salaries raised by 90% to 3.8 trillion naira. So state salaries rise by 90% to 3.8 trillion naira. And the writer there says 27 states depend on federal allocations to pay salaries, plan 6.259 trillion naira IGR. And still on the Punch, it says free Thai nationals held captive in Gaza return home. And Rivers community deserted as cultists kill 19 residents. And you can find that on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Drug carriers excrete 125 heroin wraps at Lagos Port Harcourt Airport. And you can find that read on page 1 and 2 of the Punch newspaper. And here it says Kwankwaso warring Aregbesola to get Southwest votes, and you can find that read on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. You have to go out.
The permutation have actually started for 2027, and of course, someone said something that the first day a politician gets into office, that same day they start preparing for the next election. The Kwankwasias are now trying to woo people from the West, because now it is not just getting the votes from the North. You know, before now they will tell you, if I can get Kano, get some states in the North, I'm done. And there is something that a lot of people have faulted about elections in the North, where you have videos making rounds, you know, on social media, where you have people who seems not to be the franchise age, you know, people who are not supposed to be voting. You see underage children voting and all of that playing out. But now I think the game is getting more serious, you know, trying to penetrate the West. But then, do you think only Kwankwaso will be able to do it? That's what it is. Because there is, okay, you just talked about the fact that the G5 governors, some of them that were invited, are now saying, no, they can't. You know, they are objecting to this invitation. Meaning the problem in the People's Democratic Party is still intense. It's not near over yet. Because the G5 governors, you mentioned the former governor of Benue State, Governor Samuel Otom, you know, Samuel Otom, the likes of Wike, the FCT minister, they are part of the G5 governors. But now having Wike working in an APC government, I don't think it's going to be very easy, you know, for you to be in a particular government and still be fighting that government. So there is a lot of twist to this whole drama going on. But then let's see, 2027, you think it's far away? It's around the corner. And that's why you see these big guns putting their house in order. But then I'll beg to say this, that if not until there is peace in Labour Party, in PDP and of course NNPP, there won't be any strong opposition that will give the All Progressive Congress a run for their money. And if they are having a smooth sail, then I wonder what is going to happen in 2027. There is this belief, school of thought, what Nigerians have already come to terms with, speculations that sitting governments are very difficult to unseat in Nigeria. But then it happened in 2015 when Jonathan said his ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian, and he had to go as far as congratulating his opponent, that is the past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari. Let's just wait and see what will happen. Are we about having the same thing that happened in Ghana? Everyone congratulated Ghana after their election. Everyone is happy about what happened in the United States when Biden said, no, let me step aside. Kamala, just come on. You know, and we need to get to that point when someone will say, hey, come on, I'm not qualified, I'm not worthy to...
My votes didn't count.
My votes didn't count. Let me not just do everything because I have what it takes to just press, also press the right thing to be done. Well, this is politics. We can finish talking about this. All right, over to you.
But I want to just mention, do you think we've gotten to that point where we can just, accept defeat without running to court, or coming back and saying, no, it's not favorable to me, it was rigged, we still going on, just accept it and say, okay, that's how fate has had it? Do you think we've gotten to that point yet?
It's normal to go to court if you're not satisfied with the outcome of an election. But then, how positive is it putting Nigeria on the global map as it has to do with democracy and electioneering? When we say election is free and fair, then we have a lot of foreign observers coming in. You see, one thing is this: if not until we can have an election where the vote of the electorate counts, it's one thing for you to vote for a particular candidate, and it's another thing for the courts to decide who the winner of an election is. Because when you vote and the court will now have the final say, it is no longer somehow, invariably, the people's vote that has counted, but then the decision of the court that has counted, because all of this has to do with empirical evidences. And if these evidences are not on ground, the court will go and go by the way of whoever have the best and of course justifiable evidence. And then I don't know what you will say about the vote of the electorate. So I think there are so many things that we need to put right as far as election is concerned in Nigeria.
Very true. All right, let's just delve into the next paper, which is the Nation newspaper. Ramsey, please take us through that.
All right. The Nation's newspaper have a lot of headlines right here above the nameplate. FBN Holdings, 17.65% YTD gains make it best performing Thai. Okay, Taiwan Bank. All right, as for the banks, that should be First Bank Nigeria PLC. All right, moving away from there, still below the nameplate, tax reform will spark economic rivalry among states, says Idris. All right, rivalry. Oh, okay, rivalry. Talking about states, the proposal for the creation of 30 or 31 more states is what I'm yet to come to terms with. But then, it has not gotten a complete approval yet. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. Moving to the next story, making rounds on the Nation's newspaper this morning. Foreign inflow rise by 53%. One rider to that story, its highest in 5 years. This one says why proposal for 31 new states is not likely to succeed. I just talked about that a few minutes ago. Is it up to a minute even? And this one is coming right here. On page 28, you get details of that, why proposal for 31 new states is not likely to succeed. All right, now to the star story on the Nation's newspaper this morning. A federal government targets capital market to fund infrastructure. Federal government targets capital market to fund infrastructure. Just two riders to that story, and the first rider says a road, rail, education, health will secure IT sector to benefit. All right, that means the federal government targets capital markets to fund infrastructures like road, rail, education, health, IT, all these sectors to benefit. Then the second rider says IFC team, ICRC to work out modalities. That's on the Nation's newspaper, and more still coming from the Nation's newspaper this morning. And this one says court okays FCCPC's power in telecom regulation. One rider to that story, agency to protect consumers' interests in new tariff regime. The issue of telecom tariff high. The telco tariff high is still something that Nigerians are yet to come to terms with. But then, all the same, let's see how the interests of Nigerians will be defended by the authorities, NCC especially, the federal government and every other agency that is concerned. Now, this one says, troop destroy bandits. Camp in Zamfara, killed 44. Then finally from the Nation's newspaper, this one says, two excrete 125 wraps of heroin. That is Fayemi, a comrade in pro-democracy agitation, says Tinubu. That's coming from page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. And that's all that we can take from the Nation's newspaper this morning. Looking at these stories, I don't know which of the stories is of interest to you, and you feel Nigerians will also be interested in, that you want to talk about.
It's a star story for me, the one that says federal government targets capital market to fund infrastructure. It's very important, and I know that's a way of that's the way forward. Infrastructure, once we have that, I think we'll have a better Nigeria, and it'll be favorable to all. So that, for me, that is amazing. That's the best for me.
Well, I think, like we always say, Nigerians are not even demanding for too much.
No, we're not.
Nigerians are not demanding for too much. Let the roads be okay. We should be able to transport our products from the farm to the market.
Exactly.
You know, there should be fuel. The roads should be okay, because
we're not asking for too much.
Electricity, just the basic amenities.
That is
health. We should be able to go to the hospital and be able to afford drugs.
Education.
Basic treatment, education. You know,
we're not asking for too much. The star story for me, well, for me, that's the one that caught my eye. When you talk about infrastructure, that's what we need. If we have all of these in place, most Nigerians will not want to jackpot, quote and unquote.
Yeah,
there are employment opportunities, if the roads are working, like you said, electricity, just the basic amenities, and you're good to go. The right thing that is needed for an individual to survive, the important things. We don't ask for too much, do we?
No.
All of these things are put to place. For me, that's it. Well, good. We want to
one that even caught my attention is that of IT. You know, tech. Right now, tech is taking over the world. The world is becoming a global village. So everything now happening in the world is tech, IT inclined. So if more attention will be given to technology, all right, I think I won't say it's going to be a free sale for Nigerians in the next 5 to 10 years. All of these things will become a thing of the past. You see employment opportunities everywhere. You see companies coming to invest. And what we need to do, the digital economy needs more attention. So infrastructure, for me, it's a welcome development. So
yes, it is.
Can we look at the next paper now?
The next paper on the newspaper review is The Guardian. And below the star story there says 107 days of blackout. And patients, caregivers desert UCH ward as health services decline. Unfortunate incident there. We're just talking about infrastructure and now looking at this now. And you can find that read on page 7, and it says development equity concerns fuel controversy over proposed states. And more stories there. It says Man, NECA, and warns of NPH, and it says here changes import on business. That's of course on the business news there. And you can find on page 6 a lot of interesting stories there, and it says here while Recycles offers, which is 107 for budget, and here it says on it says Surap sues Tinubu AGF over alleged 607 trillion naira fraud by contractors. Police hit court rulings to reboot retired officers. Well, of course, those are the stories making round on the Guardian newspaper, so please go out and get yourself a copy of the Guardian newspaper. And what story actually caught your eye there?
The patients and caregivers, the Zatin UCH, we just talked about it a few minutes ago.
Those that are go through operations, those that are really critically sick, and all of that.
You know why all this is happening? Health service decline. Brain drain, doctors are nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
All of them are jackpying. And the few that we have are now trying to open their own facilities, their own hospitals. Okay, and as a matter of fact, this is not a good one at all. I think it is high time that we give more attention to the hospitals. This is UCH. We're talking about UCH here. All right, we're talking about UCH here. Before now, if you want to talk about teaching hospitals, they are the people feel there are more experts there. If you are being referred to places like UCH, you should know that well, this is a critical situation. This is a place you can get maximum attention. But now, caregivers and of course patients, the ZAT UCH wards as health service decline. That's not a good one. I think something needs to be done ASAP concerning that. Then Sarah suing Tinubu and the Attorney General of the Federation over alleged 167 billion naira fraud by contractors. One of the things that Umari did on assumption of us, I'm talking about road construction contractors who were contracted the construction of roads in Nigeria, was to revoke contracts. Number one, who awarded these contracts? Number two, who are the supervisors of the contractors? Or you just award contracts and you go to sleep because you've got in your court allegedly, as the case may be. That's what Nigerians are thinking. Nigerians may think maybe probably for you to just abandon contractors, and the contract is because you've probably gotten a share, and that's all some people are concerned about, and you go to sleep. You give someone a job to do and no supervision. No one is holding anybody, any contractor accountable for anything.
Have you over the years, it looks as if when you award contracts, that's an edge for you to make money and just flee. That's an edge for you to just put money in your pocket, and you don't need to do the needful because there's no one is monitoring you. There's no committee to supervise or check out what you're doing. It's just an avenue for you to become rich fast. Have you noticed? That is how it is.
That's how it is.
And then, sorry to...
Yeah, go ahead.
And then there are more stories here on the Nation's newspaper. It says, why proposal for 31 new states is not likely to succeed. And you can find that on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And here it says, foreign inflows, I've said that, rise by 53%. It's highest in 5 years. Its highest in 5 years. That's a lot. It says tax reform will spark economic rivalry among states, says Idris. And you can find that on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. So a lot of things are happening, and that's why people are apprehensive on what's going on. Not just the common man, I would say,
that's
even
true.
among politicians.
It's so good that you're drawing our attention to that once again. But then I think all of this put together, you will know that Nigerians are just looking, they're just waiting, they are just watching to see how all of this drama is going to end. 21 states additional to the ones that we have, the 36 that we have, Okay, maybe politics is about becoming the most lucrative job in Nigeria. Before now, everyone want to say, well, I need a federal government job. So with time, people will say, I want to go into politics.
I want to go into politics.
Because, okay, 31 states. In these states, you have governors, you have House of Rep members, senators from the senatorial zones of the various states. You have a House of Representative members from the various constituencies in these states. Then you will also have State House of Assembly members from the various states. Then you will also have local government chairmen from these states. Then you also have councillors.
Exactly. So
almost everyone is having a political office right here.
Let's go into politics.
Everyone venturing into politics. Well, let's see if that proposal is actually going to see the light of day.
So, of course, next is the Nigerian News Direct, and of course, Nabamsi will be taking us through that paper.
Let's see where the Nigerian News Direct is going to be directing us this morning as we go through the major headlines. And beginning from the story at the left-hand side, you'll see the picture of the president right here. Serap sues Tinubu over alleged 167 billion project fraud in MDAs. Someone will be wondering, okay, ministries and agencies, and of course all the parastatals. But then as it is right now, someone will be wondering, why suing the president? And the other paper say the president and the AGF, that is the Attorney General of the Federation. You may be wondering, this is Serap right here. One thing that I must give kudos to Serap for is, it doesn't matter how it ends, but then for the fact that they are even rising to the occasion to say this is wrong, why is this like this, drawing Nigerians' attention to it, may in a way force the people on whom these accusing fingers have been pointed to sit up. Okay, they may want to sit up. That's good, but then let's see how the outcome is really going to go. Lagos inks MOU for construction of Lekki Airport. Another airport in Lekki. Alright, the only airport we have in Lagos is that of Ikeja. Having another airport in Lekki, meaning there will be two airports in Lagos. Is a commercial city, as a matter of fact. Alright, Access Holdings thrive post-Wigwe, a year of remarkable growth. The recent says Biafra agitation, that's the kicker. I have committed no crime. Don't beg for my freedom. Nnamdi Kanu is the one saying that. Do I need to say much about this? I think this is self-explanatory. Don't beg for me. I've not committed any crime. So that's Nnamdi Kanu making that statement there according to the News Direct. Alright, moving away from there. Kingpins escaped 125 wraps of heroin at Lagos Port Harcourt airports. I wonder how they do all of this drama. Drama. How did they swallow it? Did they wrap it in a bar or fufu to swallow it, or they just swallow it like that? This is mystery. I don't know.
You know, there's a saying that goes, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And people that don't care if it's going to, you know, they will tell them you have, like, maybe, I don't know, for some, please don't look at me with that kind of eye. I don't know what it means to swallow. Please, I was looking for the lectures. I was watching this program, I beg you. No, it's just I've made research, I've heard that they'll tell you have maybe 3 hours, or else if anything goes wrong, the person is going to die. I think they make up their minds that, okay, this is the fast way for me to get money. So whatever the amount I swallow, the person could be lucky, or he or she cannot be lucky at that point. But everyone prays to be lucky. So they take it in and know that maybe they have 5 more hours to dispose that, or else they're in trouble. So it's unfortunate. It's just the mind. They just position the mind that it's a do or die thing. It's money at hand.
I think the first quote for me, desperate times desires desperate measures.
It calls for desperate measures.
All right. Well, no matter how desperate the times is, I think life is very important, and these people have looked at this as a lucrative business because I don't know, but then
Sometimes greed plays a big role. Some people get away with it because a lot of people have done this and they've been.
But unfortunately for these people, these ones that have been caught already. It's unfortunate for them.
It is unfortunate.
This is not something to do, no matter how desperate the times is.
So there are other means of survival.
125 wraps of heroin. 125.
Did he eat anything?
I was just wondering. Normally, if you're eating swallow, can you take up to 125 wraps?
Some can.
125 wraps.
How big is it?
How big is going to be that mold? I don't know. But then, it's unfortunate. This is not something to do.
And for all of these drugs, heroin is very dangerous to health. For people that take these drugs, who are addicts when it comes to drugs, people, you don't even think about the lives that will be destroyed because of this particular act. They don't think about it. They don't think about it. It's just unfortunate that it is what it is. Yeah. And he is a kingpin. That means he is grounded.
He's been doing it.
No, it's not today. He's been grounded. But, let the law take its course. Is very important.
Sure. The law will have to take its course. And let's get to the big story, which is on the Nigerian news, the Reds, and that says manufacturers NECA bemoan increase in NPA custom levy hike. Right. Then one went into that story, and it says how says hike will increase smuggling, threaten investment. That's what it means. So I think something needs to be done. One of the things that were even promised is that custom duty was going to be removed for food items imported into this country. After that pronouncement, I was thinking we were going to have a lot of food coming into this country. If we can't go to farm because of herdsmen, then we should be able to import. But I don't see anything coming in. The rice, how much is a bag of rice today? Is it 2 bags of yam? How much is it? Is it grain? Can you even find it? So these are some of the very important things that we need to talk about, the import duties. But then, on the whole, I think the federal government is not quiet about it, but then we want something very visible done about that. That's going to be the size of the stories on the Nigerian News Direct this morning.
And next is the Daily Times, and above it says recalcitrance, and it says sacked Adamawa Rec in seats Binani won 2023 Gerber. And below the nameplate of the Daily Times here, it says Oba of Benin, the silent echoes of tradition, a son's tribute to his mother, and you can find that on page 2. And the Star story there says Atiku commends audit of $1.07 billion. And you can find that read on page 3. And the writer says cautions against 2025 budget malfeasance. And there's a cartoon of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku, and holding the what I call the electoral. Okay, I don't want to say what that is, but of course we know that there's a bag there, and your guess is as good as mine. And it says APC will take over Delta in 2027. That's Nedi Woko. And you can find that on page 5. Government adopt Ohanaeze Youth Council president on page 5 also. DLP elects new national officers also on page 5. And at the foot of the Daily Times, it says Nigerian man Benjamin Okoli dies in South Africa. Police custody sparking outrage, and you can find that on page 2 of the Daily Times. So a lot is happening on this paper here. So Ramsey,
well, so much happening.
Yeah, let's start with the foot of the Daily Times that says a Nigerian man, Benjamin Okoli, dies in South African police custody, sparking outrage. We hear about a lot of issues where mostly Nigerians who are in South Africa, the police, there's always something that goes wrong and they actually die in detention or they die in jail or all of that, or you see the exchange of words between Nigerian and police in South Africa. I think a lot has to be done when it comes to protecting Nigerians who live abroad in this country. But who knows what actually caused his caused his arrest, for him to be in detention, and what happened. But it hasn't gotten to the point of loss of life. I think life is important. I think we have a lot to play in Nigeria here in protecting our own, whether they are criminals, quote unquote, or not. We should at least hear the other side of the story first before we judge or go into that.
If it's a criminal act, whatever it is the person has done, the person should be charged to court.
Very important.
Not dying in police custody.
Exactly.
It might be as a result of some brutal tortures. It could be as a result of anything. We don't know yet. Maybe with time, NIDCOM may come out to tell us the reason why all of that happened, because that is where we will need to know why that happened. And then sometimes you begin to think about pointing to what happens in Nigeria, and some people feel, well, we've seen in the papers, we've seen on social media where people were tortured by Nigerian police allegedly, and there was a loss of life, and people were like, okay, these things are happening in Nigeria, so this is a Nigerian in this country, and they see that, well, if that happens, nothing will come out of it. But then I think something needs to come out of that. On the whole, I don't think the law enforcement agents have the right to take the life of any citizen, whether they are citizens of their own country or citizens of other country, whether they are in their own country or in another country. So the bottom line is, nobody's life should be taken for anything. If it's a criminal case, whatever crime the person has committed, that person should be charged to court. If not until convicted by the court of law, that person still stands innocent. So that's what it means. The issue of torturing people, all right, I think in this part of the world they call it talk through, or I don't know how to call it. It's not the best thing to do, because some persons have in the past accepted crimes they never committed, probably because of the torture. That's what we hear. That's what we used to hear because of fear. It's on the social media. You hear Nigerians talking about it everywhere. You know, this doesn't put Nigeria on a good light on the global map. So whatever happens, I think NIDCOM should get to the root of it. All right, I think that's that for me.
And then next is the Daily Independent. Ramsey, over to you, please.
All right. The Daily Independent this morning, I have some very big stories, and I'll be starting from the Star story, which says, report predicts price stabilization amid record high food inflation. Report predicts price stabilization amid record high food inflation. That's what every Nigerian wants to hear.
That's what we want to hear.
That's what we want to hear. But then, not just saying it, the reality of it is on the papers today. When is that time when this stabilization is going to happen? When you say stabilization, what are you talking about?
And let's not forget, Ramsey, it's a prediction. Let's say they're actually predicting that.
It's a prediction.
Yeah, reports predict. Like, it's a prediction that that means there is, for me, I would say once there is, for everyone there's an atom of truth in it. So let's say maybe there is something there that we are all not seeing, because these individuals who do these predictions, who are in this particular office, are actually, they are tucked in, so they understand why they are saying that. But fingers are crossed, basically. We're happy to see this. But the most important thing for me, like I always say, the impact. We need to feel the impact. We need to understand how to go to the market.
If not until the impact has been felt, it's more write-up.
It's just a write-up.
It's more liters on the paper.
Very true.
Until Nigerians can go to the market with the cellophane, I always say this, and come back happy. Wow, with 5,000 naira, I got my cellophane filled up. If not until that time comes, You go to the market all the time, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, very true.
You live in this minute, tomorrow you return back, the price is different.
Exactly. So since before till we are all excited and we wave hurrah on this particular caption on the Daily Independent, which is at least we know that there is hope. We know that by the grace of God, there's going to be stabilization when it comes to food. I mean, amidst the high cost of food. So we feel that impact, then we can talk more about this and throw more light and jump up.
The president and the AGF should sue those that are concerned about the scammers, as allegedly said on Daily Independent. 167 billion naira. That's a big money right there. Health sectors, $1.07 billion must not be swallowed by snakes, monkeys, Atiku warns. Gagam for me. We heard, that jump money, that they said, was it snake that swallowed the money? And we also had where they said monkeys ate the money.
Yes.
Well, Atiku is now saying, well, the health sector's $1.07 billion money should not be eaten by snakes.
Which is true.
Or swallowed by snake and eaten by monkey anymore.
And this is what, we've gone back and forth with these issues when it comes to monies and all of that. So really, it's a fair warning that please, we know that there's this amount of money. We don't want to hear that crocodiles came out from the water. I'm bringing in crocodiles now because there's we've mentioned monkeys and snakes, so we don't know what's next. So hopefully the transparency will be done when it comes to that.
The crocodile takes it to the water, that's all.
That's all, please.
And what if the eagle take it up the sky to the mountains?
What are we going to do? So that's a lot of money. $1.07 billion. That's a lot.
Dollars.
And he's on point. We don't want to hear anything about. We don't want to hear anything.
Sometimes some people, as soon as they hear Atiku, they say, they've come again opposition. Because some criticisms are very constructive.
Yes, it is.
This is what Nigerians know. All right. So if I were the authorities, the government of the day, I would do everything possible to put some of these things wrong, to make sure we exonerate ourselves from some of these scams.
Exactly. Very important. But I don't think. It's just unfortunate that most of these individuals don't look towards that direction. We should listen to what some of these opposition parties say. There's a lot of sense in it, though.
There is. Because
just said since I he said there is.
There is. All right, more headlines from the Daily Independent this morning. NECA offers panacea to unemployment crisis. Then this one says Sam Nujoma, Namibia's first president, dies at 95. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Nigeria-Israel Mall Joint Commission dialogue. Minister seeks support in tackling food insecurity. So much being said about food today.
Exactly.
I think it's like this government are understanding what the people are going through the more.
Yeah.
We just talked about the fact that the prediction. Then after the prediction, we'll see Nigeria-Israel Mall Joint Commission dialogue, and the writer to that story says minister seeks support in tackling food insecurity in the country. Then this one says this is going to be the last from the Daily Independent. FCCPC excited as court affirms regulatory authority in telecoms sector.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful, and that's the last that I will be taking from the Daily Independent.
And of course, the last paper on the newspaper review segment on Global Morning is the Daily Trust. And with that, after this paper, we'll be wrapping it up, and then I'm going into the AM News. And here it says, below the nameplate of the Daily Trust, it says here, you can't relocate Palestinians to Saudi land, Arab nations tell Netanyahu. Cashless payment, commuters protest delay at Kefi Akwanda Road tollgate. How this individual lost 6 family members to kidney disease, Yobe local government chair. And the Star story there says manufacturers sorry, pardon me. Manufacturers, others decry new 4% levy on imports. And the writer says, say it can raise inflation higher, so a key faults action customs explains policy. And below the foot of the Daily Trust says, vehicles, properties burnt as gas station explodes in Niger. And still on the Daily Trust says, 2 drug lords excrete. We've said that before. 125 hearing wraps at Lagos Port Harcourt Airport. And here it says, Naira strengthens by 45 Naira against the dollar. And here it says, real estate sector to hit 2 trillion Naira in 2025, and that's the federal government. Now, for me here, one of the story that really catches my eye is vehicles, properties burnt at gas station. As gas station explodes in Niger. My goodness.
Too much of explosion these days.
Too much of it going on.
No, it could be as a, if you find out the details, it could be as a result of carelessness, as the case may be. I'm not saying it's as a result of carelessness. This is disaster. Anything could be responsible. But then, what measures have been put in place? We've had a lot of tanks in a city, sort of.
Yes,
and you have a lot of cars, vehicles killed, all right, to get fuel with people passing the road. So any explosion, and this is something that is highly inflammable. It moves in the speed of light.
And you know what, I'm seeing, these cylinders. I'm seeing cylinders in the picture story here. Someone told me something that, the cylinders have expiry date. Did you know that?
Yeah, it does.
You see, we need an awareness on that. Because I didn't know that. It was just someone, how old is it? I said, ma'am, how long have you had this cylinder? I was like, oh, really? And we don't have, most individuals do not know that cylinders have expiry date, that when you put in gas, it can lead to explosion even indoors. So that awareness needs to be created. It's very unfortunate that this has happened.
The expiry date is written on the cylinder, but the way it's written, you need to go to another different school to even understand the write-up.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
they've been educating people. When you see 00125, the way they write the expiration, I don't know, that could be maybe January 2025 or something. Well, the way it's written, they've been educating Nigerians. It's been on social media, on the internet.
Oh my goodness.
But then I think something needs to be done. That thing should be written in clear terms so that everyone, whether you went to school or not, you should be able to understand it.
Please. All right. Well, that's the amount of time we can take on the newspaper review. But you know what? You can go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed on the news making round. Go to the pages of the newspaper, and then you can be well informed, like I have just mentioned again. And up next is the AM News on Global Morning. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews, latest news with experts on key global issues,
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
We welcome all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. Coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumbai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Vehicles and other goods, including food items, have been burnt down by an explosion that occurred in Sabon Wuse Tafa local government area of Niger State. The blast reportedly occurred while a tanker was offloading gas at a terminal in the area. It was reported that the fire burned for hours before arrival of firefighters at the scene of the incident, with claims that the explosion sent shocking waves through surrounding communities as people ran out of their homes for safety. The Conference of United Political Parties, CUPP, has criticized the National Assembly for nominating Asiya Abdullahi Ganduje, daughter of APC National Chairman Omar Ganduje, and Mohammed Wamako, son of Senator Aliyu Wamako, to the board of the Northwest Development Commission, NWDC. Peter Amer, National Secretary of CUPP, expressed the group's disapproval during a press briefing in Abuja, describing the nomination as an abuse of legislative powers. He criticized the nominations, asserting that they undermine the principles of fairness and equal opportunity. The dismissed resident electoral commissioner of Adamawa State, Haudu Yunusa Ari, has alleged that he was pressured to declare Governor Amadu Fintiri the winner of the controversial 2023 governorship election, despite possessing evidence that the All Progressive Congress APC candidate, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Banani, rightfully won. Speaking in Bauchi with journalists, Yunusa Ari accused both the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, and the Election Tribunal of desperately ignoring evidence of widespread irregularities. The former resident electoral commissioner stated that he and other officials were pressured to declare Fintiri the winner under threats to their security. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has inaugurated the governing board of the Imo State Universal Basic Education Board and Imo State University Teaching Hospital. The governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to revitalizing both sectors for improved service delivery. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
At the inauguration ceremony, Governor Uzodinma highlighted the crucial role of Imo State University Teaching Hospital as the state's only teaching hospital, reassuring that his administration would provide all necessary resources to enhance its operations and improve healthcare services.
Between last year and this year, we have invested over 4 billion in the teaching hospital, procuring modern equipment to make sure the environment will be habitable and the equipment that can compete with any other equipment outside this plan is also procured.
On basic education, the governor announced that his administration has fully paid all counterpart funds owed for the past 12 years. He assured that the funds remain intact and will be immediately utilized to enhance learning infrastructure and quality education across the state.
Quality education is not about the block, the building. Quality education requires quality teachers, quality teaching, quality environment for you to have quality education.
Responding on behalf of the newly inaugurated board members, the chairman of Imo State University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Ogeri, expressed gratitude to the governor for the confidence reposed on them, pledging the board's commitment to fulfilling its mandate for the benefit of Imo residents.
From the motto, we all come together and work in unity with the staff already working in the hospital to make sure that Imo State University will become the university hospital, become one of the best in the country, and will produce graduates that will be highly skilled and competitive both in local and world markets.
With the inauguration of these leadership structures, expectations are high for the significant improvements in healthcare and basic education in Imo State. In Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to former Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi on his 60th birthday and commended his dedication to democracy, governance, and national development. Tinubu, in a birthday tribute, his person ally signed to celebrate the former governor at 60, said Fayemi exemplified service as an academic, author, administrator, and development expert. The president recalled his long-standing relationship with Fayemi, which dates back to their time in pro-democracy movement of the 1990s, where they actively opposed military dictatorship. The Nigerian Senate is set to investigate allegations made by the head of state of Niger Republic, Brigadier General Abdulmanin T, accusing Nigeria of colliding with France to destabilize Niger through a new military group identified as Lukarawa. The Senate Committees on National Security and Foreign Affairs have been directed to investigate the matter and report their findings. Ramsey Agbo takes it from there.
The resolution stemmed from emotion moved on the floor of the upper legislative chamber by the Bauchi South Senator Umar Shehu at the plenary session. Senator Shehu Bubar voiced significant concern over allegations from Niger Republic's head of state, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Chiani, accusing Nigeria of colluding with France to destabilize Niger using a new military group called Lakurawa. As a result, the lawmakers seek Senate intervention to recommend diplomatic and security measures aimed at restoring and strengthening the historic ties between Nigeria and Niger.
Brigadier General Chani also alleged plans to establish a base for Lakurawa in a forest near Gaba, Sokoto State, with operational reach extending to Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi State.
The Senate decided to hold an open debate on the allegations due to the sensitivity of the matter, but directed its committees on national security and foreign affairs to investigate further and report their findings.
Let us just agree that his committee be made to go and carry out whatever investigation that needs to be carried out, and the committee will present a report to us in an executive session.
But I suggest that it should be a joint committee. The Foreign Committee on Foreign Relations is also very important.
The motion is now referred to the Committee on Intelligence and National Security, jointly with the Committee on Foreign Affairs, to report back within 4 weeks.
As the Senate anticipates feedback from its joint committee, it resolved to debate the outcomes in the executive session. Ramsey Agbo reporting for Global Television.
The House of Representatives Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution has proposed the creation of 31 additional states in the country. The proposal for new states was contained in a letter read during plenary session by the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, who presided over the session in the absence of the Speaker, Tajuddin Habas. Ogochukwu Mobono completes the story.
An act of the National Assembly for the purpose of creating a new state shall only be passed if it requires support by at least the third majority of members. The committee chaired by Kalu proposed 6 new states for North Central, 4 in the Northeast, 5 in the Northwest, 5 in Southeast, 4 in South-South, and 7 in Southwest.
The Senate and the House of Representatives, the House of Assembly in respect of the area, and the Local Government Council in respect of the area is received by the National Assembly. Local governments, advocates for the creation of additional local government area are only reminded that Section 8 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, applies to this process. Specifically, in the accordance with Section 8.3 of the Constitution, the outcome of the votes of the state houses of assembly and the referendum must be forwarded to the National Assembly for further legislative action.
The proposal, if scaled through, Nigerian states will be made up of 67 subnational governments, as the country's current states stand at 36, including the Federal Capital Territory. Ogochukwu Mobono reporting for Global Television News.
The Ghana state government has vowed to eliminate polio by June 2025, despite a recent surge in cases. Governor Abba Yusuf made this commitment during an orientation training in Kaduna on Saturday, organized by the state's Ministry of Health for health personnel. 44 local government chairmen and traditional rulers, the training aimed to equip stakeholders with the necessary knowledge and strategies to combat polio and reduce maternal mortality in the state. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has arrested 2 suspected drug kingpins at Port Harcourt International Airport and Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, who excreted a total of 125 wraps of heroin. The agency spokesperson Femi Babafemi confirmed the arrest in a statement issued on Sunday, revealing that one of the suspects, Onyewonike Elochukwu Sylvanus, operates under dual identities to evade detection. The Ministry of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the government will engage stakeholders over the proposed 12-year basic education model. Alausa had, during the extraordinary National Council on Education meeting in Abuja, presented a proposal that aims to transition to 12 years of compulsory education within the existing 633 system. During a press briefing in Abuja, Alausa, however, noted that the proposal is for discussion and not an immediate policy shift. You are watching the live broadcast of AM News on Global Television, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. When the AM News returns, National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko pledges support for Nigerian Deaf Sports Federation. We shall bring you those details as well as business and sports stories right after the break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business, Lagos State government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the construction company Soma Group to construct the long-awaited Lekki Ekpe International Airport. In a statement on his X handle, the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu noted that the airport is an essential part of his administration's vision to improve connectivity in the state and stimulate economic growth, as well as draw in global investments. The project is expected to boost infrastructure, ease transportation challenges, and reinforce Lagos' position as a key economic hub in Africa. Over now to Saudi Arabia has introduced new visa regulations that will impact travelers from 14 countries including Nigeria, restricting them to single entry visas valid for 30 days with no option for extension. The changes apply to tourists, business travelers and those visiting family members, while excluding applicants for Hajj, Umrah, diplomatic or residency visas. Saudi authorities have cited the misuse of multiple entry visas as a key reason for the policy shift, noting that some travelers use long-term visas to stay in a country illegally or participate in Hajj without proper authorization. On the foreign news now, Egypt Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has left for Washington to meet with top U.S. officials and members of Congress after President Donald Trump floated a plane to relocate Gazans to Egypt and Jordan. A statement by the Egyptian Foreign Ministry says Abdelati visits aims to boost bilateral relations and strategic partnership between Egypt and the U.S. and will include consultations on regional developments. Egypt has been seeking to rally Arab allies against Trump's plan for Gaza, with Abdelati speaking with partners that include Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates to straighten oppositions to any forced displacement of Palestinians from the land. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has faulted bilateral military cooperation among the United States, Japan, and South Korea for raising tensions in the region, vowing countermeasures, including further development of nuclear forces. Kim said U.S. deployments of nuclear strategic assets, war exercise, and military cooperation with Japan and South Korea will invite a military imbalance in the region and raising a grave challenge to the security environment. He noted President of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, does not want unnecessary tension in the regional situation but will take sustained countermeasures to ensure the regional military balance. Over now to sports. Chairman of the National Sports Commission, NSC, Shehu Diko, has assured the Nigerian Deaf Sports Federation of Commission support in upscaling deaf sports and providing a platform for athletes with special needs to express themselves. Diko gave the assurance while receiving a delegation from the federation led by its president, Dagbo Saka, at the NSC Secretariat in Abuja. The Commission's chairman stated that budgetary provisions had been made for para sports development, including equipment and kits, procurement to advance the sports. Leaders, Remo Stars, maintained their 8-point grip at the top of the 2024-25 Nigerian Premier Football League table and completed a double over Kano Pillars this season with a nervy 2-1 win in Ikenne. Sarako Alimi and Abubakar Babawo netted for the Sky Blue Stars in the first half, while Abba Adam pulled one back for the Visitors in the first 45 minutes as well. The matchday 23 encounter opened up to a lively start, and the hosts got off the blocks inside 5 minutes thanks to Alimi, who sided-footed Sheo Ogunwobido's low cross into the net. Belinda Bensik reached her first Women's Tennis Association Tour final since returning from maternity leave with a surprise victory over Elena Rybakina at the Abu Dhabi Open. The Swiss former Olympic champion clinched a 3-6, 6-3, 6-4 triumph over world number 5 Rebecca in 2 hours and 6 minutes. Bensik welcomed her daughter Belle in April 2024 and returned from a 13-month break from the tour 6 months later. Now that's it on Global Television AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using at Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into
views and latest news with experts on key global issues,
both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
The thing is on. I'm on their station.
Welcome back from the AM News on Global Television. This is the time we've been waiting for to get into the first conversation for the day. Like we said, we have a very crucial matter to discuss today. I call it crucial because it is politically related. And when we talk about politics in this part of the world, you know what we're talking about. Now, what are you thinking about political realignments? Looking at the misunderstandings and the disputes that we have in the various parties that would have actually given the APC a run for their money. Now today we want to look at political realignments, alright? Opposition raised against the ruling All Progressive Congress, and I will have my guest join me on the conversation today all the way from Lagos State. He's going to be joining via Zoom, and his name is Nina Kirebe. It's good to have you join us on the breakfast show this morning.
Yeah, good morning. I hope you can hear me.
All right. We're looking at political realignment here. The opposition were against the All Progressive Congress. Can we say the All Progressive Congress have been having a smooth run without any opposition, looking at the crisis in the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, and NNPP? Can we say, well, it's been a smooth run for them? There have not been oppositions, despite the fact that we have Peter Obi speak sometimes, we also have Atiku speak sometimes. Even like today, Atiku has spoken in one of the papers where he was talking about the numerous billions of dollars, all right, that, well, this time nobody should come and tell us monkey or snake has eaten that money. Can we say the APC have been having a smooth run without opposition? So far, so good.
Good morning, Global TV. Thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
If you can hear me, yes, the APC have not been getting enough opposition. That is the reality on ground, because the opposition parties, like you mentioned, the PDP, the NNPP, the Labour Party, there is no cohesion. And if you remember how the APC came about, it's a stronghold of AD, different parties, CPC also, and other parties. So, but this fragmented position has not worked, because the APC started with a formidable structure. But as time is going on now, we want to see how the foundation will hold, or if it will break down. But for now, the APC is still standing very strong, and the voices of the opposition is not yet loud, is not yet making the impact that Nigeria should give that Nigeria should do. So for now, the opposition is still scattered, because it appears there's too much personal ambition with the opposition. So there is no united front yet. Yes, we are hearing of realignment, and we are hearing that there will be a conference and meetings to aggregate their thoughts and begin to have a program for proper opposition and proper representation towards 2027. But that has not materialized. And the more they delay, politics is time. The more they delay, and if APC get their act in order, you can imagine what will happen in 2027. More so, if the opposition do not unite and come to believe that they are working for Nigeria, if they can unite, then they will begin to make the opposition on principle, opposition on basis, opposition on program, opposition on what they want to do, not individual and just castigating the APC. Just castigating the APC alone cannot give us assurance. There is no food on the table. Hardship is at the highest level. Inflation is at the highest level. Insecurity is at the highest level. We need to begin to hear the unity among the opposition, and we want to also begin to see what they want to do differently, because so far there is nothing new. What the APC said they would do, that was what Labour Party said they would do, that's what PDP said they would do, NDP said they would do, but they said they would do it differently. But it was the same thing I said they would do, but now what they want to do differently. How do they want to take Nigeria out of this quagmire of darkness and hopelessness, so much insecurity, death, suicide at the highest, ransom payment is at the highest ever in Nigeria, inflation is at the rooftop, there's no way out, manufacturers are crying, businesses are making losses, people don't have assurance of how to get their next meal, salaries are worthless, people go everywhere now without hope. There is so much pain in the land. So at this point, this is where we need this opposition to unite. The cry for their unity cannot be more sounding than now. It is time for the opposition to unite, because if they go with personal ambition, they are going to scatter and they will falter and they will not get anywhere. Because if the APC are able to get their acts in order and be able to translate one or two, what is going on for the opposition is that the APC is not yet to translate their program set. All their translations is not materializing. The more they are bringing up policies, the more the situation is getting worse. They are only giving us paper assurances, vocal assurances, but on the table of Nigeria, no food. In the pocket of Nigeria, no money. Nigerians are afraid. Insecurity. So things are just going from one bad to one. Yeah, they say they are able to kill insurgents. They have killed hundreds of them 2 weeks ago. They are able to do things on paper, but in reality, nothing is changing. Kidnapping is getting higher. People can be kidnapped from their houses. Ransom is paid. Some people are still killed. There is no assurance. There is no way forward. So Nigeria needs to have an opposition now than ever before, because the clock is ticking and 2027 is just like tomorrow. If they are not shattered, lives mean little or nothing now. Criminality, rape, assault, killing, everything is on the high. So we need a way out. We need the opposition to, draw a program and begin to get their act in order and give us a way out. And begin to get their act in order and give us a way out. Nigeria needs a way out of this problem. We cannot keep suffering like this. How can we continue like this? World Bank has told us that even the Nigeria per capita index has even deteriorated by about 4%. There is no index you want to look at that you will say life. There is no light, there is no green light. Index you want to look at that you will say life. There is no light, there is no green light. Every index, every parameter, is it the naira value? Is it the currency? Is it the purchasing power? Which area do you want to use to evaluate this government? Anyhow you want to evaluate this government, you will see failure and failure and failure. So if the government is failing, Nigeria is failing. That's how economy works. If the government policy is not adding up, yes.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. From what you've said so far, it's glaring that what you said is tilting towards the former deputy national chairman of the APC in the northern part of Nigeria have said in an interview that was monitored by one of the media houses in Nigeria, where he has to say, I'm talking about the former lawmaker right here, Alhaji Salihu Lukman, who have said, well, the oppositions need to give the APC a run for their money. And he pointed out the three as it is. You know, Nigerians are looking at the PDP, the Labour Party, and of course the LNPP to at least give APC a run for their money. And the man have come to say in an interview that they are not a match yet, that what they should do is to put themselves aside and concentrate on building the political parties before they can even talk about opposition, that they should drop personal ambition and concentrate on the political parties building. Can we say that is some form of jettison or maybe a distraction to make the people lose focus as far as opposition is concerned?
I can tell you for a fact that Alhaji Lukman understands politics very well. The situation is this: the opposition parties, the major ones and the minor ones. He has mentioned the three major ones, which is PDP, Labour Party, NNPP. There are also minor ones. All the opposition parties are engrossed in divisive and divisions. There is no cohesion. There is no central structure, so there is a lot of dismemberment. If you look at NNPP recently, I think last week, they are trying to factionalize and relieve Kokanso. If you look at Labour Party, there is struggle for leadership. If you look at PDP, there is struggle for leadership. There is no cohesion. There are just two ways out. If I will tell you as a political analyst, two ways. One, either in the next 1, 2, 3 months maximum, these three parties and others are able to unite, or there should be a fresh political party, so that before there will be issues, at least they would have been able to give us a program. And it's not about gaining power, it's not about Muslim hard power, taking power by force. No, it's about rescuing Nigeria from the quagmire. It's about giving Nigeria hope. Nigeria, we have the population, we have the mineral resources, we have the things that many countries don't have, which is ingenuity, smart people, those people that want to work, a workforce, a large number of workforce in about 140 million workforce. So we need a government that will enhance this and create enabling environment for businesses to thrive. That's just what we need. A government that will enhance our potentials and make Nigeria to work. Right now, the ship Nigeria is not working. There's a lot of grounding going on. So, the point one, opposition parties should go and sit down and have sort out their different opposition parties, first of all. PDP should be able to sit down, allow win-win situation whereby they are able to get leadership. Not today they are arguing will be secretary, they are arguing will be chairman. No, they should be able to have clear understanding on how to set their party in order, keep their party in order. The same thing too for Labour Party. Labour Party should be able to get their act in order. NNPP, get their act in order. People, at least, the arrowheads should drop personal ambition first of all. Get a structure. Without a structure, you cannot have a building. And a country like Nigeria, which is a very vast country, we need a party that is embedded, a party that is well structured. Because if a party comes in without having a formidable structure, the day they enter, that is the day they will need to falter. Look at what is we thought. We so much believe that the APC actually prepared itself from around 2011. Was going to take Nigeria to the next destination of Uhuru. But today APC came in, and from day one, Naira fell, they remove subsidy and things just degenerated. The poverty level just got to very terrible heights. So we need the opposition to sit down, look at how APC failed. They should go and understand why and how APC failed, and begin to know how they can correct this economics and correct the situation. There's no time. There's no time because 2027 is just about 2 years plus. So by next year, parties will begin to produce, different flag bearers. So there's no time at all. So there's no time. They should do this as a matter of urgency. Get their acts in order. People, the opposition should come together, begin to speak in one voice. That is why you see when you look at developed economies, they're able to aggregate and go for a two-party situation. So anybody, because carpeting is not just allowed. You don't just wake up in the morning, you're a PDP, in the afternoon, you're in Labour Party, in the evening, you're in APC. Look at even last week, people are cross-carpeting parties. Before you know it, they will cross again. So there seems not to be integrity or ideology. People just, in Africa or Nigeria here, it's just a personalized ambition. There's nothing like, because in the democracy that we run is a party that is a vehicle, is a party that gives the program, is a party that gives the direction, is a party that takes the glory and the blame. So, but here we see too much of personal interest and personal ambition that overshadow party ambition and party program. So we should go back and generally there should be general education. Let politicians understand how this democracy works. That it's all about party. And when you are joining the party, go for that party and believe in the party. Work for the good of that party and stand by the failure of that party. If your party does not win, stay with it, build it again, and have a program that will work. Not because your party did not do well this year, you leave the party to the one that is doing well. So supposedly, why there's nobody doing well? So not just that they're in office. So there is something to be corrected.
Well, I think I just want to ask you a question. Just in line with what you're saying, because you're talking about cross-carpeting here. Lukman, who just made this statement, was in APC, and I don't know what happened. For whatever reason, he left. And now he's no longer singing the praises of APC anymore. And if you look at in that interview, I'm actually referring to him because he was, if you look at his position in the All Progressive Congress, he's not just a card-carrying member alone. All right. Now, you see the people who's proposing that they should come together and probably form an alliance, mentioning the likes of Amaechi. Amaechi also worked with the past administration, the past APC administration, remember. Then he's also talking about, he called on El-Rufai, Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, who would have been given a ministerial position in this very APC administration if not for some of the issues that arose. Then he also made mention of the likes of the former Ekiti State governor, talking about Kayode Fayemi. Then he also talked about Senator Waziri Tambuwal. If you look at all these people who he has urged to come together with Atiku, Obi, and of course Kwankwaso, you will see that these are people that you can't even say if they are for or against the All Progressive Congress. So can we say all of this is more like a drama, or you feel he is saying the right thing? The issue of cross-carpeting, you can't really know who is who in Nigeria. How does that affect this whole opposition thing come 2027 as far as alignment is concerned?
Yes, first thing first, Nigeria needs a strong opposition. But going by what Alhaji Lukman said, the names he has brought up, these are names that seemingly they are APC members, Amishin is an APC member. El Rufai is still in APC. Fayemi is still in APC. But they are strategically and practically sidelined. They don't have voice in APC for now, including himself, who is a former vice chairman of Northeast or so. So now, these are APC members. So, but that's what I said, the policy should not be personalized. It should not be after personal interest. It should be, whether the person is APC or PDP, actually it's immaterial. But they should have Nigeria at heart. They should be people that want to see something different. People should earn money and be able to use the money to take care of their family. There was recently increase in minimum wage to about 70,000. 70,000 cannot even buy a bag of rice, cannot buy a lot of, it can't even transport that the head of the house, whether the man or the woman, to his workplace and back in a month, or fuel his car. So that's what we are actually advocating. We are advocating reasoning. We are advocating interest. People, Nigeria that have Nigeria at heart, don't allow Nigeria to sink. Don't allow Nigeria to fall into the abyss. Come up, say something, do something, join hands to form an alliance. It will not be the APC or the PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, or other political parties. It may be a fresh political party, but we need a way out. If this way out come by reason of these three main parties having their act together, so be it, because Nigeria must come out of this situation where there is so much apprehension. People go to sleep with uncertainty and wake up with fear, not knowing what to do. People can't pay their rent, people can't eat, people can't even travel from one place to the other. You know, so that's where we need a solution. And this solution must come from the think tanks, the eggheads, those that have been able to do something meaningful in their life, not necessarily in politics, but those that have been able to do something meaningful in their life. Let the discussion be expedited, let it be faster, so that we can begin to have a semblance of something that can form an opposition, a true opposition, a position in reason, a position in policy, a position in giving Nigerians answer to the economic question, answer to the security question, answer to the dollar naira devaluation question. So these are the positions that we need now, not the position of just names of person, former politicians. No, because those former politicians, of course, they are questionably failures. Questionably failure because no court has really, indicted them. El Rufai has about 492 billion naira in question. Right now, EFCC are questioning. Is it Rotimi? So many questions on his head. So we need an opposition, yes, but not necessarily politicians. We need those that will give us answer. Those that will take us out of this situation. Those that seemingly have done it before in their personal businesses and can translate it in a big enterprise like Nigeria. So we need a way out. That's what we can say. We need a way out, and there is no time. We need a way out. There's no time. We need discussions. We need to be seeing what is happening, and we need to see that all these political figures are putting personal interests aside and are focusing on national interests, are focusing on how to help Nigeria, are focusing on how to give Nigeria a fresh rebirth. Nigeria needs a fresh rebirth, new ideology, not people coming to government and the next thing they want to do is how much they will bloat their ministries, how much they will bloat their budgets, how much they will steal out of the bloated budgets. That's not what we need. We need people that can manage meager resources and give us the maximum output out of what they have. Because there are countries that have less resources than we have, and they are doing much better. So that's what we want. We want to go from a place of deficit to to surplus, not a budget. You are budgeting a budget of over 20 trillion deficit, and you are happy. You will say you want to borrow more money to finance the budget, and the budget keep being in deficit. No, we need a budget. You need a leader that can come and begin to think. Even before he came in, he has thought about the situation. Not you say you will solve the situation. You come in, you now degenerate the whole situation. It becomes worse. No, we don't need such leaders anymore. We need leaders that know what they are doing. Not coming with paper theory. No, coming with practical terms. As we come in, we need to set things in order. We need to see that the first step you take is in order. Second step is in order. Third one, we are waiting for it to materialize. Not the ones that come in like this APC. First step from May 29, 2023. Disarray. You say you are removing fuel subsidy. You are going to float the naira and other policies that you are also giving. Everything is just falling out in like a pack of cards.
Okay, let's thank you very much for those responses. Now let's get to look at the roles of opposition. We've been talking about opposition. There ought to be an opposition. There ought to be an opposition. Can we just look at the roles you think an opposition play, all right, in governance, especially for a sitting government such as this? Then the second question, I'm asking two questions in one right now. The second question is, have we ever heard since the emergence of democracy an opposition that actually played this role you're about talking about, that Nigerians felt its impact positively?
Yes, the role of opposition is to salvage a country from the monarchy mindset. The monarchy mindset is the king ruling and with his kingmakers and with his in his palace, and whatever he does is accepted. So no, you can't question the king. But in a democracy, there is room for opposition so that your policy can be questioned, your policy can be scrutinized, your policy can be followed up step by step to see how much the policy is working. Of course, when the policy is working, everybody sees that it's working, and no voice can oppose that policy. But when the policy is scrutinized, we need to look at the setback of the policy. How can this policy be improved, or is this policy totally wrong? How can it be reversed? When the opposition will not start giving advice, actually, opposition is to check. It's part of the check and balance in a democracy. Is to check what the party in power is doing, begin to give advice, begin to give solutions. So when they speak for 4 years, like in our own system, it's a 4 years cycle. When they speak for 4 years, look, this is what we can do. This is what you are supposed to do. This is the steps you are supposed to take. This is how you are supposed to correct this particular anomaly in the system. So when the people are listening to this opposition, they are listening to them systematically and periodically. They are not seeing the change, and that particular policy keep going down. For example, when this government came in, the dollar to naira officially is about 400 naira to a dollar. Now it's about 1,400. So the opposition is supposed to be giving notice and telling the government what they are supposed to do, how they are getting this wrong. So as the time comes for a new cycle of election, the opposition will say, okay, we have told you what we do. Now you are refused. People of Nigeria, believe in us, look at what we do. If you believe this thing, vote for us. This is how we correct this anomaly. This is how we get our naira back to maybe 400 or 300 to the dollar. So that is the role of opposition. They sell their programs and it helps the country to be out of, because it's about improving the economy. You know, it's about reducing inflation. It's about increasing per capita index. It's about improving security. You know, it's about making the wellness of Nigeria to be a priority. So the moment a position is able to do this, and the people in that country like Nigeria have a strong followership, they are able to follow, they are able to. So when it's time for this next cycle of election, the people will now vote for them. So that's why we are saying that the opposition should now begin to get their act in order, because there is no time to get this program in place and get the Nigerians to believe what they are saying and now vote for them for what they know that they will do to correct the situation and help and improve the lives of Nigerians. Yes, the only party that we see that have done it in this third republic is probably the APC, because they were able to, come from, have a strong synergy of a different political parties at that time and formed the APC, and they started quite early. About 2011, they have already gotten the act in order. By 2012, we were already
all right. Just hold on for a minute. Just hold on for a minute. We'll return back. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return because you're hitting a point there, and there's a question I would like to ask you, but then that will be after this break. Just stay with us.
Make him stop him before we go this thing. It's running out of, he never go.
MJ. many thanks for staying with us. It is still the first conversation where we're talking about the realignment, and of course, my guest has been on top of his game. Thank you very much for staying with us.
Yes, I'm happy to be with you, Global TV. You are the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, you're doing a whole lot of justice, but then our time is almost up. Let me ask this last question before we draw the curtain. Now, as a matter of fact, talking about realignment now, some persons have even been thinking of forming a coalition. Remember what happened to APC before they were able to unseat PDP, if you could remember, taking you back memory lane a little bit. Now, for instance, if there is going to be a coalition to give APC a run for their money, now in the mix, we have Peter Obi, we have Kwankwaso, we have Atiku, we have Waziri, we have El-Rufai, we have Fabemi, and the rest of them. These are people that are coming from other political parties. I don't know any of them that has been in one party and has been there from the beginning until now. But as the case may be, if we're talking about realignments to give APC a run for their money and probably forming a coalition, don't you think that's going to bring more problem and destabilization in the party, in the sense that the person who would front for the position of the president, if all these people form coalition, might be a problem? Don't you think so?
Let's look at how the APC came. You know, the APC came with a strong program, and they were. And APC told themselves the truth. The truth is that up until that time, no Nigerian in the opposition had been able to garner 10 million votes, apart from General Muhammad Buhari. No other Nigerian had been able to garner such a vote. So they told themselves the truth. If no matter the coalition we are forming, this is a man we will give it to. And the man at that time has said he's no more in politics. He's no more running for any presidential because he has failed like 3 times. So they went to practically beg him because they knew this is the man that has an assured voter base. So this opposition should not mix it up. They should not go and get a rookie, a fresh horn, a green horn. No, you can't come and start testing water. No. We have people already that are tested. Atiku is able to garner 7 million. It's on record, we know. Peter Obi is able to garner 6 million, we know. Kwankwaso is able to garner about 2 million or thereabout, we know. So they should be able to go and sit down, have united front, whether as a federal segmented basis or as a strong new coalition, as a new party, whichever way they want to do it, but they should not trade wrongly. If they trade wrongly, they might miss it, because there will be dissatisfaction. Yes, it will be on merit. Who are those that can win this thing for us? Who are our best 11? Okay, if we didn't give you presidency or vice, how can we compensate you that can give you rest? Because politics is about how to share. If the way there's no resources, there's no politics. Politics are how to share resources. There's only politics because there are resources. So they should be able to sit down. How do they, have an agreement on this? So the moment they're able to get this, I can assure you that APC is as good as gone. Yes, because the more onlookers see that they are getting side, more people will join them, even from the APC. More people will join them from the APC, and the more APC get more fidgety, and the security situation is not getting improved, Naira value is not getting improved, inflation is not getting improved, the hardship is getting more severe, and life is getting more hopeless and daring, the more the opposition will gain ground. As it were, on paper, APC has lost the next election, all things being equal, where there is no manipulation on paper, because I don't know who does not have food that will vote somebody that will not help him to have food. I don't know. So on paper, for me, on paper, they are gone. The question is, who will replace them? That's the way I see it. Who will replace them? Because on several parameters, judging this government, It seems they are winning more on television than in the houses, in the pockets, in the place, on the tables, and in the keeping of the head of Nigerians. I don't know. Look, let me tell you this. If you look at the index, even in clear-cut war-torn areas like Israel and Gaza war, you find that more Nigerians are dying than such a place. If you look at index, let's say South America now, where hostages taking is so paramount, you find that they pay more hostages now in Nigeria than in such a South American country. So I don't know which area I want to begin to look at it. So we need to a program and a set that can correct this anomaly. The anomaly is a monster staring at everybody. So we need a program and a set that can cure this monster. So there must be a clear agreement on how to do a fair, seemingly fair ratio on how to share the power. If, for example, they said, because the political parties have agreed that the South should produce a president as at last time, but no, PDP later faltered on that agreement. So, but there should be a clear agreement. If it's from the North, it's okay. If it's from the South, it's okay. But the main thing is that the solution must be airtight, because there's no room for failure. More Nigerians have died within these last 10 years of APC than probably during the Civil War. It's an amazing statistics. So we don't want to, we want the dying to stop. We want the uncertainty to stop. The uncertainty is alarming. We want to begin to have a semblance of hope for Nigeria.
All right, I'm rounding up now, but while you were speaking, a question still came to my mind from the response you gave when we were talking about the fact that on paper the APC is already written off. But now looking at the economic reform, some economists have said, well, as it is, Nigeria is on track, and they've given a timeline, and even the president have said severally that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think will happen if insecurity becomes stable and of course our health system is working well, the price of fuel is minimal, like we have the exchange rate getting stabilized a little bit between 1.4 to 1.5 recently. We don't know how far it's going to go. What if we have things stable and Nigerians can eat well? You know, Nigerians can forget their pains easily when things get right. What do you think will become of the APC in 2027 if they have all these things corrected before then?
Yes, I will try to be factual. This government has been able to kill a lot of the Boko Haram and the bandits and terrorist kingpins, okay, in the north. In the east, they're going to kill a lot of iPod heads and also army and their soldiers, their foot soldiers. But that is not the main thing. The main thing is that there is an imbalance in the system. It is the imbalance that is causing these upheavals of different agitations. So, except you're able to take care of this imbalance, cutting different fingers of a person does not kill the person. No, for you to take care of that dreaded monster of this insecurity, there must be a way to bring stability. Except a government knows how to bring stability in security. For example, more people are getting poor. I heard the Northerners, in a program last 2 weeks saying that their region have never been impoverished since 1960. That poverty has grown far to the highest in their region. So now, if you don't have a program that can begin to, deploy means to eradicate poverty, what do you want to eat? How many do you want to kill? We are talking about a region that have the north probably have over 120, agile youths, million. How many do you want to kill? So it's what it to ask, how do we correct this? Are our farmlands working? The answer is no. Insecurity, farmers don't go to work. Those that farm, either the terrorists ask them to pay as ransom, or they kill them, or they destroy their land and devastate their villages. So there are a lot of villages and towns that have no settlers right now. In the north, in the south, right now it is even in the southwest, in the southeast. It's not about. So as we look at this thing, it shows that this government, without bias, they came in not understanding the problem. You need to understand the problem before you begin to talk about how you want to solve it. If you go with the textbook nature, you want to start killing the terrorists, you may kill to an extent, but you may not solve the problem. So the problem is not being solved. Now talk about how do you stabilize the currency? That's the question I should ask you, or you should ask me. How do you don't stabilize the currency by wishing, like the past administration did by printing more naira? That is, you can't stabilize the country. You stabilize the country, you don't stabilize it by taxing your people. You don't. Your country, you can't stabilize the economy by taxing and taxing and taxing. No, it's about how to create an environment that will make almost all your population, foreign investment will be coming in. Without production, you cannot correct.
Thank you, Mr. Keribe. Our time is up. I would have actually loved us to continue, but then our time is up. I think we would have this conversation again, just that time is not on our side right now. We need to make way for the second conversation on Global Morning today. A very big thank you to our political experts joining us via Zoom all the way from Lagos State, Mina Keribe. Thank you so much for being part of the Global Morning today.
Thank you, Global TV, and thank you for the good work you are doing for Nigeria. Hopefully, God will reward you, and your station will keep blossoming.
Amen. Thank you so much. A very big thank you to you also for making out time to be part of the conversation. Now, the big story is big. When we talk about realignment, it means so much. But then, when you begin to consider the fact that cross-carpeting has actually destroyed so much in our political scene, then you begin to think about the fact that even the people that have been suggested by Lukman Alhaji himself, they are people that you need to sit down and check their pedigree and their antecedents while they were in power and get a clear cut of the political party they are supporting 100% before you can even talk about realignment. But then 2027 is right before us and the fight has started. Realignment for 2027, what are we expecting? Is there going to be a coalition? Then, if there is a coalition, who do you think will be fronted as the presidential candidate? And then, can we say things will get better? The hunger will go away. The insecurity will become a thing of the past. Our health sector will start working. Then, people can feed very well before 2027, all being done by the All Progressive Congress that has promised that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. What happens if all this comes to play? What do you think will be the fate of the APC in 2027? All these are questions in the heart of every Nigerian. But then the bottom line is Nigerians are waiting for that time where dollars can be 1 naira to $1. As a matter of fact, it's possible, and where Nigerians can actually go to the market and get what they can eat and feed very well, sleeping and closing their eyes, go to farm and return back without the attack of herdsmen. All these are the questions in the hearts of Nigerians. Coming up next is the second conversation on Global Morning. Stay with us, we'll return after this break.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. You're welcome back, and it's Global Morning on Global Television. Hope you had an amazing time in the first discuss of the day. Now, the second segment of Global Morning, we'll be looking at the petrol gas explosion, the significant concerns for road safety, particularly in Nigeria. Now, where transportation and storage of fuel are common, these explosions can occur due to leaks, accidents involving fuel tankers, or improper handling of petrol at filling stations. Now, when such incidents happen on or near roads, they pose serious risk to drivers, passengers, and nearby communities. The safety of roads is comprises by various factors related to petrol, gas, including the conditions of road themselves. Now, the maintenance of fuel transport vehicles and adherence to safety regulations. Poorly maintained roads can increase the likelihood of accidents, while inadequately trained personnel handling fuel can lead to dangerous situations. Now, moreover, the aftermath of petrol gas explosions can lead to road closures, traffic disruptions, and significant damage to infrastructure, further complicating transportation in affected areas. Now, to mitigate these risks, it is essential to implement strict safety measures, conduct regular inspections of fuel transport vehicles, and enhance public awareness about the dangers associated with petrol gas. Now, in addressing these concerns of petrol gas explosion is crucial for ensuring the safety of roads and protecting lives in Nigeria. Today, I am being joined by Prince Kevin Fineface. He is a security and energy consultant, public good advocate. Good morning, Prince. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Jumai. How are you? Good to see
Hello,
you
Prince.
again
Good morning.
after a very long year. Good morning.
It's great to have you on the program, Global Morning.
It's
Thank you
always
for
my
being
pleasure.
a part of the program. But let's just quickly go on a very quick way. Prince will be back shortly.
Okay.
All right, you're welcome back. And of course, Prince Fineface, who is a security and energy consultant, public good advocate. Thank you so much for being a part of the program, Global Morning.
It's always my pleasure being here. Good morning, and good to see you again since the last time I thought it should be like 1785. Have you been?
Very funny. Well, it's good to have you on the program in 2025. Now, look at this explosion of gas petrol tankers and the concerns of in the society. Now, what do you think are the primary causes of petrol gas explosions on these Nigerian roads?
One word: negligence. Negligence on the parts of the tanker drivers, on the parts of the companies that runs this business for transporting fuel and gas. Negligence on the part of regulatory agencies responsible to check that everything that needs to be done is done appropriately before these tankers leave depot, and negligence on the part of the leadership of the government. Because see, when we do the things that are necessary to be done, there's always the chance for us to avoid the things that needed to be avoided. In every given environment, there's what they call risk assessment. For fuel tankers to be used on the road and not the rails, carrying these consignments, because in those days it used to be the rails. The train used to carry these things. Then suddenly new business sprang up because the rail system stopped working, and it became a major business for those who can afford and those who understand how to manage these things, because people need to get fuel in far northern region. The government at some point had the wisdom to connect pipes, from Port Harcourt down to Kaduna and so you have all of this. Yes, we have the AKK pipe, project going on. But what steps have they taken to ensure that, because these things are highly inflammable, that the general public understands the dangers where there is an accident, probably as a result of circumstances beyond one's control. In the first place, why do we have accidents on the road so frequently? The roads are bad, the drivers are poorly trained. Majority of these drivers hardly understand road traffic rules. Majority of them that I've experienced seeing, you see them, they hardly can even, coherently communicate. They don't even know how to speak English, not to talk about how to read signs. All they know is that they can move the vehicle, every duty, and they just move it. And you see them driving so recklessly sometimes because they know what they are carrying. They scare other road users on the road, and in some cases, lock rounds out of them, and they get into this big problem. And you see tankers, some assaulting, tumbling, pouring fuel, and because there's high poverty. Nigeria happens to be the poverty capital of the world, in most recent times. So people just believe that this is a highly expensive product. If they fetch some, they might be able to sell to make some good money, without also understanding the dangers. I mean, far back as 2001, we had one of the worst, explosions somewhere in Delta State. I mean, 200 and something persons died in that process. People were roasted alive. We had another one in Igbo State. All of these things have been happening. Has the government taken its time to do a proper research on the best way to carry this commodity across the nation as is demanded, seeing that there's no other provisions being made by the government, that the refineries in the northern region is not working, and that the refineries in the southern region is not working effectively, and that they've been importing fuel? Which other means have they done? Can't they begin to say, okay, we have single gauge rail line, we have, the standard gauge rail line, and the narrow gauge, and the standard gauge rail line? Are they seen ways with which they can utilize this means of transportation to reduce the tankers on the road? Now, if you're going to even do that, there has to be a transition. Excuse me, because the tank drivers also will be thinking their jobs will be taken away from them, so they will also fight against it. They might not make it possible. So, but the government, in our wisdom, should be able to do what is necessary. So, you do stakeholders meeting, engage the general public, and educate the general public of the benefits and the disadvantages that comes with all of those things. We have National Registration Agency. Only recently they tend to want to put out some materials to want to educate the public, but not good enough. Why? Because a lot of these places where these things that happen are places where people can hardly read and write simple English. So they should have been able to do this.
I want to ask a question, Prince. You mentioned negligence. Is it negligence on the part of the drivers who do not understand these safety precautionary measures when driving these tankers? Or is the bad roads? Which of them are we looking at precisely? Well, we do not have good roads right here in Nigeria. So which has more weight of blame here?
Well, like I said, negligence cuts across the first factor that I mentioned. I said the drivers, the companies responsible for this transportation, the regulators, and the government of the day. Negligence all stems from that place, because the government of the day should have ensured that the roads are motorably for easy passage of this commodity. The regulators are supposed to ensure that the companies responsible for this transportation have the required system put in place, which means the tanks are properly monitored, that they have not really used up their lifespan. Because if you look at some of these tankers, right, they've been used for so many years without proper checks, no proper maintenance. So you see, once the sun, and don't forget, we have this very hot sun that is in this dry season, especially the northern part of Nigeria. In the southern part, currently, sometimes it rains, even just a few days ago it rains. So there's that mitigating point where nature tends to help the environment. But in the northern part, it's so hot. And that can easily make any flammable to just go up flames. Because the heat will likely going to cause a spark that will result into the inflammation that we see. And so when you look at the negligence, it's not just the drivers, but majorly, it is from the place of the regulators. Why? The regulators are supposed to ensure that companies keep to industry standards, meaning the drivers are supposed to be well trained for such purposes. Companies are supposed to ensure that they employ only the right people to be employed. But you know, we have a system where anything goes. The laws are easily flouted, and there's always that anarchy that takes place. People don't have people actually respect the law. So you find a company probably with compromising of what benefit they're supposed to get at the expense of the community of the general public. And so that's where the problem comes from. If the regulators are working without necessarily looking at their personal interest, they will ensure that tanks meet standards, industry standards, and companies only employ relevant skill sets to carry out this operation. Then the government on their part will also look for ways, other means with which this can be done. What about activating, the rail system? Let the train start working and ferrying these things. It's possible. It's been done in the past. It can be done currently again. So they can ferry the gas. They can, same thing with transport the fuel and other, petroleum products alongside through the rail.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to ask a question quickly now. Now, how can community awareness and education help reduce the risk associated with petrol gas transportation? Because I think that it's becoming a problem now, because we keep going back and forth with gas explosions here and there. You mentioned Imo and Niger. It just happened recently. So how can this awareness help?
Well, you see, the awareness will help in the context where members of the public will not rush to go fetch this or go scoop from these fallen tankers. That's the only place to help. But if you don't do the roads right, if you don't do the regulatory, take care of the regulatory measures right, guess what? The temptation will still come in again, especially when the general public is hungry. And petroleum products is one of the most expensive products you find in the country. I mean, you buy 1,000 plus, or less than 1,000, maybe 990, maybe in some cases. And so if you look at it, if somebody would think in his head, if I'm able to fetch 20 liters times 1,000, it sells maybe for 800, that's 16,000 naira. And that 16,000 naira can go a long way to take care of his family, especially when there's gross poverty in the land. I mean, the level of poverty in the land is unbelievable. Everything is inflation is killing everything on one side. Government policies, some thought it's killing another side. So you find people looking for a way to survive. Excuse me. And the first law of life is simple. It's survival. So people, because of the survival instinct, will want to survive. But public education, enlightenment can reduce to some minimal the rush with which people go for scooping. Maybe in this sense now, they might go for scooping with plastic containers so that there won't be any spark. But if the sun is hot, just by human contact alone, there are electromagnetic fields that are released. I don't know if you have experienced this before. Sometimes you tend to want to hold on the metal and you get this shock. Or somebody touches you and you feel this shock. Those are electromagnetic fields. And that can cause a spark, resulting to inflammation, right? Excuse me. So we can see how we can educate the general public, but the government has the onerous task to ensure that the roads are motorable and that the companies are basically following serious industry standards.
Yeah, talking about standards. Now, let's just look at emergency response measures. You said when there is a tanker breakdown or a little bit of people just rushing, try as much as possible to get the amount of fuel that they can get in their possession when it comes to 20 liters, so as much as they can fetch, according to your own words. Now, what emergency response measures do you think should be put in place in case of a petrol gas explosion on the road? Because the last explosion that happened some time ago, people were there actually fetching out of it to get as much as they can. Someone just came with a cigarette and the next day he just threw it by mistake, and the whole thing, there was an explosion that happened some years back. So what do you think are emergency measures that should be put in place to create that awareness for the general public or individuals or places who are not really enlightened?
As a country I don't think we have a national security safety template, right, where we deliberately put out strategies to ensure that first responders, second responders, do what is necessarily needed to be done, and that there are positions or points where, if there is such a situation like we have the explosion and the burns, do we have primary health care centers within the path through which these tankers drive through, to ensure if there's anything of this sort, the first aid has been needed. So we have an hospital somewhere here, there's a primary health care center that can intervene to some degree of burns. So those are some measures that can be put in place, because the fact that the government has failed to do the right thing in ensuring that the roads are truly motorable, and that the companies keep to industry best practices. They want to also create a opportunity where there will be safety measures. So let's say if there's a tank driver that either inadvertently or deliberately have done wrong to have some assaulted, maybe because of our speeding, and this tank is up there, or sometimes by nature, maybe the tire just busted, especially because of the way our roads are, not even the fault of the driver, and so we loses control, and the tank falls out from the trailer, the truck. Guess what? Are there measures put in place along those paths, Professor, that the community members educated enough to understand what they need to do as first responders? So we need to, there's a multiplicity of responsibilities that are expected, but there's this cascading effect that we can take in ensuring that every member of the public understand what needs to be done. So if I'm driving and I see a tanker falling and the members of the community, I think we should be able to cordon off that environment, because we're all educated to understand that they need to cordon. I mean, it happened somewhere in Lagos some time ago, if I'm not mistaken, where the responders came in and decided to deploy chemicals to wash off, to reduce the effect of the flammables, the content, and they were able to easily evacuate that environment and reduce, and successfully, took out the fallen tanker, and it also washed off the land and the environment of that. So there was a type of bioremediation that took place, to restore that environment back to normalcy. If it would have been very deadly, if not for such kind of intervention. So we can do such, as a national security and safety measure, to ensure that it's part of our template, so people understand what they need to do when things like this happens. So in our secondary schools it is taught, in primary schools it's taught, in the tertiary institutions it's also taught that this is what is expected to be done when you see things like this. So when the people are educated, they take ownership of that expectation. Guess what? It means that the tank drivers now, or the tanker drivers now, will also know that they don't need to be driving unnecessarily. For example, that they also know the kind of first aid that need to be taken as a result of anything that happens this way. They can blow alarm immediately. Once they fall, they put on maybe a megaphone to announce that nobody comes closer because of the inflammation, inflammables that they're carrying, right? So they can make that kind of announcement. So maybe every tanker driver will be able to carry alongside a PA system. And so once anything of this nature occurs and the person is still in safety, he can make that announcement. Community members can also have the same thing. So once anything else happens, you start announcing, please don't go closer, and all of those things. Now don't forget, there are also people who can be mischievous. You made mention of the fact that somebody came lit a cigarette, yes, and then mistake. No, it might not be mistakenly. It might be to test if it will go up, because people are mischievous. And they are mostly mischievous when the opportunity is created for them to do so. So all of that can be taken care of if we take all these measures.
Thank you so much, Prince Kevin Fineface, for being a part of Global Morning and throwing more light when it comes to gas explosion and the concerns it brings around individuals in the safety of roads. Thank you so much for being a part of Global Morning this beautiful morning. Thank you. And of course, Prince Kevin Fineface is a security and energy consultant, public good advocate. Thank you for being a part of the program. All right, now let's quickly go on a very quick break. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is